Welcome to Patagonia, Argentina for MXGP, the third round of the FIM World Motocross Championship. Situated in the center of the country, close to the border of Chile. We are some, 1,600 kilometers or so from Buenos Aires, in amongst some of the finest scenery in the world. And this Patagonia racetrack, just out the city of Villa La Angostura, is nestled in the shadows of the Andes Mountains. And in recent years, this South American country has played host to a multitude of sports such as Dakar, ISDE, WRC and WTCC, World Touring Car. Well, this weekend, though, it's all about MXGP and MX2. And if you're joining us at home, welcome. The last time we came to Argentina for a Grand Prix was 125cc in 1995 in Coscan, Cordoba, close to the capital, but it was northwest, about 750 kilometers northwest, won by Eliseo Kiko Chiodi on a Rinaldi Yamaha. But in MX2, Jeffrey Herlings remains the man to beat, having so far gone undefeated in the first 4 races, and he's already starting to open up a considerable margin over his closest rivals as well. Now the track this weekend, 1,550 meters long. It looks flat there. There are some elevation points in it. It's pretty wide as well. And the riders saying possibly the best track they've had of the year so far. It's a little bit loamy in places, hard underneath as well. But let's take a look around this La Villa Angostura circuit now.
Romain Febvre, number 461, Yamaha Factory Racing Yamaha.
Valentin Guillot, number 92, riding for Standing Construct Yamaha Loop.
Well, if you start in the center of the gate, it's about 85 meters to the first corner. Not quite 180 degrees, but it's banked to the outside, but straight away we're into 2 single rollers. But turn 2, very wide, and it sweeps around back on itself. And then as we exit, it starts to head back uphill over the first of 3 floating tabletops. The first one pretty short. The second one is a bit of a stretch on a 250. And then the third one just here. You get that right, you can carry so much speed into this next turn, turn 3. Over a slight crest, again 180, but you see how wide the track is. And then over a Dragon's Back, riders pretty much doubling the last part there. Through the left, series of waves, about 6 waves through here. They're a little bit closer together on the left side than they are on the right. They seem to fan out through there, but then we hit the first Monster Energy tabletop jump. Land, there'll be some big braking bumps down there as well as the day progresses. Single double into this left-hander, an offset mogul there over the Ipon jump. That's about 17 meters, a slight step up, and then we head up into the woods briefly into this 180. Caught a few riders out on the opening lap yesterday. Over this crest, and then we have another huge step up here. A lot of crowd here already this weekend. This next left-hander banks up to the outside. It gets soft and loamy. You can carry the momentum through there. It's a great slingshot into these waves here, 6 in total. Then we hit this right-hander, again over another slight crest. Just unsettles suspension slightly. And then the right-hander under the Monster Energy banner again into a rhythm section. The left side being favored. It's the quickest way through. If you can get across the gap in the middle, most riders are though. Turn 11 here, the left-hander. And then turn 12 is made up of these 2 giant rollers, and then you come out of there, there's a single into this right-hand turn, 180. Then the final straight, over a single into the final left-hander. Then we have the Monster Energy finish line jump just here. And then it's on the gas, down past pit lane, and back into turn 1 to complete the lap here in Patagonia. Well, Lisa Leyland is down on the grid now. And we're getting to, we're getting ready to speak to Petar Petrov on the Hitachi Revo KTM.
So that was the lap of the circuit here in Patagonia, Argentina. But I'm on the start of the first MX2 race here. But I want to speak to Petar Petrov. Petar, just a quick word. Let's talk about qualifying yesterday. Wasn't ideal for you, was it?
No, it was actually really bad. I had some issues with, first I crashed in a time practice a couple of times and I hurt myself a little bit. And then pretty much all the bad luck came to me in the qualifying race. So hopefully now it turns out and get a good start and try to be up front.
So you will be having quite a bit of work to do today, but are you happy with the conditions, the layout of the track, and what's it like to race it?
The track is really nice. Probably one of the best we've raced so far, and the spectators are really amazing. So it's really nice to be here in Argentina, and I'm glad we came. And like I said, now it's just time to do good, and we are ready.
It really makes a difference to the crowd, and they're loving it here, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really amazing. It's really nice.
Best of luck, Petter. Thanks for talking to us. I next want to speak to Valentin Guillo, who's all the way up the other end. He's the former EMX 250 champion, and last time we saw him was on the podium in Mexico and Czech Republic at the end of last year. I always give myself a good workout on these grid walks. Here we go. Valentin, hiya. Just a quick chat. Great qualifying for you yesterday. You qualified in third, and that was by far your best result so far, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. I'm starting to feeling really good on the bike, on the race bike, because now between Thailand and Argentina, we make some testing, we work on the bike, and I start to feel good on the bike. So it was a good race. I hope to make the same today.
So is it realistic to say you're aiming for your first podium of the season today?
I will try to make the same job than yesterday, and we will see the race result after the two races.
It rained last night as well. Do you think that's made a difference to the track?
No, it's actually the same than yesterday. They put water yesterday, and with the night, with the little shower, it's actually the same than yesterday. So that's not a problem today.
Okay, well, best of luck. Thanks for chatting to us. Time now for the start of the MX2 race and the current MX2 championship standings.
Jeffrey Herlings leads. He has won all 4 races so far, 4 wins out of 4 in Qatar and Thailand, but 22 points further back is Dylan Ferrandis on the Kawasaki Pulse. Jonas is third, just 8 points further adrift. And then we have Julian Lieber, who's been having a great season so far, another 8 points further back in fourth. And then we have Valentin Guillo, the guy who we just spoke to there on the pre-grid. Alexander Tonkov is next, and then Covington, Geiser, Petrov, and Jeremy Siwa. Mel Pocock is 11th, but unfortunately, due to a crash at the British Championship opener a couple of weeks ago, he picked up a severe hand injury. So Mel Pocock on the DRT Monster Energy Kawasaki will not feature this weekend, and we don't know when he'll make a comeback either. But Mel Pocock, get well soon. If you're watching at home, we're all thinking about you here, my friend. But you see the riders down on the gate. Temperature not as warm as it has been actually so far this weekend. We first arrived here on, well, late Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and it was pretty warm. It was nice, it was comfortable, around 20 odd degrees, something like that. But in the end, it's got a little bit cooler, and today is testament to that. So the fans wrapping up a little bit warm, feels around about 10 degrees outside. Well, if you haven't already seen it or don't know what happened yesterday, here's what happened in qualifying. Well, the gate dropped, and it was a flying start from Adam Sterry, 8.11 on the Wilvo fork rent KTM, but he ran wide coming through the first turn, got it wrong into turn 2, was almost off the bike there, and then just lost the front all by himself. Guriev just behind him as well, just fell all by himself in that second corner as Sterry remounted and got himself back to 18th. But up front, Jeffrey Herlings led the way from Thomas Covington, number 64, but Jonas, 4 or 5 corners in, found his way up the inside of the American Kawasaki start, took a look over to his right and saw that Covington was there, and he was up there in second position. Brian Borgers, well, he was taking people wide, left, right and centre. That was Brent Van Donnick making his debut appearance in MX2. And this guy here, 3:38 as well, David Herbertot of France. But Covington responded when the number 92 of Valentin Guillo passed. He thought he'd got him back at the end of the start straight, but just ran wide and Guillo was through. But in 5th place, keeping a watching brief, was the 59 on the Wilvo Nastan factory Husqvarna of Alexander Tonkov. Dylan Ferrandis made a poor start, number 4, lucky to get away with that moment through the waves as well as he carved his way through the field. He was in 6th at that time. Jeremy Siwa, number 91 on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. The Swiss rider was having a good start. He started 6th and eventually came home in 6th as well. But Ferrandis caught the rear wheel of Tonkov. And when he burst back into view, he was already past the Russian and up into 5th position. But Jeffrey Herlings looked like he was on a training ride here in Patagonia. Got a good start and was just doing everything possible. He's been on the bike a lot in the last 3 weeks as well. Tonkov riding defensive in the closing stages to prevent Jeremy Seewer coming through. Tonkov eventually dropped down to 9th on that number 59 Husky. Track's starting to cut up, maybe not as rough as riders were hoping for. But Max Anstey got himself onto the rear wheel of the Russian as well. And as he ran wide, Anstey was up the inside. And Max Anstey would eventually come home in 7th place, just ahead of Van Donnick and Tonkov. Julian Lieber would come home in 10th. But a good ride for Jeremy Seewer. Brent Van Donnick, who started in 9th, eventually dropped down to 11th, got himself back into 8th, but the win belonged to Herlings. Jonas was 2nd, Valentin Guillot was 3rd, Covington 4th, Dylan Ferrandis was 5th. And as we go back here to Pauls Jonas, who did come home in 2nd, Jeremy Seewer was 6th, Anstey 7th, Brent Van Donnick, Alexander Tonkov and Julian Lieber, your top 10.
Esto quiere decir, entre dos pilotos que empatan en puntos, quien haya logrado la mejor colocación en la segunda manga.
There's Jeffrey Herlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, number 84. The winner of the qualifying race. And his teammate alongside him, Pauls Jonas and Valentin Guillot, 92.
Franco Caime, que se está preparando para el Dakar. Franco Caime, que ha empezado su preparación. Y a él, no sé, le gusta un estilo que digo, primera batería.
It's a great atmosphere here at round 3 of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship, the Patagonia Grand Prix of Argentina. Dylan Ferrandis, he'll be looking for a better start on that Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing Team machine, but so too will the number 91 of Jeremy Seewer alongside him. The riders lower down the order just making their way to the start line, just to take their positions out on the gate. There's Alexander Tonkov, well known to star on Husqvarna Factory Racing. Alongside him, 172 on the Kimiya Yamaha, Brent Van Donnick, a rider who won a round of the European 250 Championship last year in Great Britain, Matterley Basin, with 2 solid 2nd place finishes. But he's got the call this weekend to represent the Yamaha squad in MX2 for the first time in his career. So the Kimiya Yamaha Yamalube team looking for big things. I spoke to him this morning actually, and he said he was a little bit tight and nervous going into the qualifying race, but to come away with 8th and not a bad start. Well, he said he made a poor start, but then he came round and eventually came home in 8th place. There's Adam Sterry, 811. He was the rider that actually made the whole shot yesterday, but just ran it wide. So Sterry, the Brit, riding for the British-based team actually, Wilvo Forkrent KTM. He'll be looking for another flying start like that yesterday. Ben Watson, incidentally, who we didn't see in qualifying, he had a problem as they were warming the bike up before the bikes needed to be in the waiting zone at the start of the qualifying race. Didn't get the bike in time despite changing an engine in rapid time. So he put in some fast laps this morning, did Ben Watson on the Hitachi Revo KTM UK machine. As we look at the start list, this is how they finished in the qualifying race yesterday. That's how they will line up on the grid. But Ben Watson will be starting right over on the left-hand side. In fact, that's him there, just corrects himself. He knows that maybe some of the guys alongside him aren't necessarily the fastest starters in the world, so he might have himself a little bit of an advantage to cut across there. Ben Watson can get a good start, like the best of them. But Ingo Parch, our race director, the green flag has walked across. The Monster Energy 15-second board has gone up, and any moment now that'll turn to 5 as we get ready to go racing here. The MX2 Grand Prix Argentina at Patagonia. The heads go down, the revs go up, the crowd out to the right-hand side, stand up on their feet as Herlings gets a little bit of wheel spin going off the line. And it's the 91 of Seewer, but Adam Sterry once again, but it was Seewer, I think, who grabbed the foxhole shot. Adam Sterry well placed there in 2nd position. As Ferrandis, the start that he needed, he's in 3rd place on the number 4 Kawasaki. Then it looks like it might be Tonkov in 5th position on the Husqvarna, and Tim Geiser maybe, not quite sure. as we head over that shot, but Lieber got a good start, it seems. Tonkov, Herlings, Anstey, Jonas, and Herbertro, Benoit, Paturel in 10th place. Up over the Dragon's back for the first time. Oh, wide, and a mistake there from Siwa as Ferrandis. Number 4 goes into 2nd position, but Herlings all over the back of him in 3rd as they hit the 1st. Oh, and there's that Herlings down. Ooh. Or was it Jonas? It might, oh, it's Herlings. So Herlings holding his wrist. Remember, he's recovering from a broken leg as well, got it completely wrong, and the guy who everyone's talking about saying could possibly go undefeated, even though he's playing it down himself, has just crashed out spectacularly on the opening lap here. So it just goes to show you can never be too confident about what's going on around you. And Herlings, well, the right side, the handlebars, are they broken, yes or no? He's holding his leg. It was the left femur that he broke, of course. And he can't believe it, the handlebars are trashed. And he's just trying to, and that was that, but then he picked himself up. I think he got hit again here, possibly. So the rider who walked it yesterday by almost 20 seconds in the qualifying race, he's holding his arm, he was limping as well, trying to get back to his bike in what has been the surprise at the moment, but back with the action live. It looks like Dylan Ferrandis might be leading the way as they come over the finish line. Yes, he is, and he knows he's got a golden opportunity here because he was 22 points behind Jeffrey Herlings at the start of the race. I know it was a long way to go, 28 minutes plus 2 laps. Well, Paul Jonas is in 2nd. Lieber in the yellow in 3rd. Then Max Anstey, great start for him in 4th, number 99. Adam Sterry likewise in 5th. Tonkov 6th. Benoit Paturel 7th. Siwa is 8th. Guillaume 9th. Covington is 10th. Getterman, Herbertro, Van Donnick, Geiser and Brilyakov. They are your top 15. With Borges, Petrov, just Ben Watson 19th, and Ivo Monticelli is in 20th position. But drama then on the opening lap. Jeffrey Herlings crashing out spectacularly. Doesn't look like he's going to rejoin the race at all. But over the Monster Energy tabletop in the center of the circuit, through the left, through the right-hander here. Over the single double, or the small little tabletop more in fact. And over the crest, this track will now start to chop up. Oh, it looked like Tonkov got into a bit of bother there in the background. Just about rescued it. So Tonkov and possibly Sterry. As we look at Julian Lieber on the blue Yamaha, number 33. Remember, he had that big crash in Thailand in the first race. After just finding a way past Tim Geiser to get himself into 2nd place, but bounced back with a great result all by himself in Moto number 2 with a 3rd. And so far, the races that he's finished, 3rd, 2nd, and a 3rd out of the 4 motos. We said DNF in the first race in Thailand, but Max Anstey looking to charge down the inside of Lieber through that sweeping turn. Few spots of rain on the camera lens. It has tried to drizzle here today. We always knew that there was going to be a chance of rain. But Lieber going defensive just behind our commentary position. And Anstey, oh, the bar action through the final corner. And Lieber will cut, well, I thought he would cut across to the left just to thwart the challenge there from Anstey, who goes wide, looks to get out of the turn early and get the power down on that Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki. But the fastest man on track is Paul Jonas, a 1:48.1. That's 8/10 quicker than our race leader, Dylan Ferrandis, who has just over a second advantage over the young Latvian on the Red Bull KTM. But this battle here, Julian Lieber and Max Anstey, 3rd and 4th. The Yamaha versus the Kawasaki. Anstey up on the pegs around that long sweeping turn 3 and over the Dragon's back. Double combination. Behind them, Adam Sterry, great ride for him on the Wilvo Fork Rent KTM. Jeremy Searle, Rockstar Energy Suzuki. But look at the battle here for the lead. Well, neither of these two riders have won a moto this year. Dylan Ferrandis finished 4th in the MX2 World Championship last year, of course. Did win a couple of races. Won the first race of the year out in Qatar, but didn't really feature how we wanted to in 2014. Had a lot of success, but lots of problems as well, crashes and one thing or another. But here he is being put under pressure by the number 41, Paul Jonas, who's just set the fastest 2 splits as well as putting in that fastest lap. So he's challenging for the lead. Looks like he's diving. Right, it's Anstey and Lieber. So Anstey down the inside. Oh, not a lot of room for 2 bikes there, surely. Well, Lieber rewriting the rule book in that instance. This is turn 12 through the 2 rollers. Oh, and I thought that was a lot closer than it looked. Lieber just losing traction. He's now coming under pressure from Anstey. Oh, and Jonas has taken the lead. So with the Red Bull KTM factory rider, Jeffrey Herlings out of the way, he'll be relying on his teammate now, Paul Jonas, to possibly pick up a moto win here. Still 24 minutes to go. The battle for third, still pretty intense. Julian Lieber on the Yamaha, Anstey on the Kawasaki. So we've got a KTM, a Kawasaki, a Yamaha, a Kawasaki. There's Suzuki now. Jeremy Sewa has found his way past Adam Sterry, who's been pushed back into 6th place. Benoit Paturel on the Kimiya Yamaha Yamalube machine is in 7th. Tonkov on the Wilvo Nastan factory Husqvarna is 8th. Guillot on the standing construct Yamaha Yamalube machine is in 9th. And Covington on the Monster Energy Kawasaki Racing Team bike, number 64, is in 10th. Jens Getterman on the JTEC Honda is in 11th. Brent Van Donnick, the second of the standing of the Kimiya Yamahas, is in 12th. David Herbertro, teammate to Ferrandis, is 13th, with Brylyakov 14th and Petrov 15th. Replay of the start, Herlings gave himself a lot of work to do. He just sunk down and spun up going into the start gate himself, but it was Jeremy Sewa who grabbed the foxhole shot through that first turn, narrowly edging out Adam Sterry by about half a bike length, and Anstey to the outside there, look. Back with the leaders. Paul Jonas, 41, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Monster Energy Kawasaki of number 4. Dylan Ferrandis there in 2nd. Don't need a stopwatch to tell us that it's only 0.6 of a second apart between these two guys through the split rhythm section. Doubling off the end into turn 11, and Ferrandis, well, he looks like the guy who's in the ascendancy at the moment, as Julian Lieber around about 5 seconds back. In fact, he's been passed here because Max Anstey now in 3rd. And Lieber now in 4th on the number 33 Yamaha. He's got Jeremy Sewa closing in on him in 5th place. So we've got a couple of battles opening out on track now in MX2 Race 1. Paul Jonas gets it a little bit wrong through the first couple of corners. Dylan Ferrandis hanging off the back of that Kawasaki for all it's worth. Said he just had a few issues with bike setup yesterday, couldn't get off the start and was on the gas everywhere to no avail, but they've changed the engine, changed some parts on that Kawasaki this morning, and said it was picking up a lot better, and that good start that he got obviously is going to be testament to that. But he bounced his way out of the Dragon's back, almost lost the wheels from underneath him there. The ground very slick underneath. It looks nice and soft and loamy, but it is a hard base underneath here. But he's definitely getting his head down and going after the young teenager, Paul Jonas, the Red Bull KTM number 1 rider in this race now. As Jeffrey Herlings crashed out spectacularly on lap 1. Picked himself up but was limping, he was holding his wrist, the bars were trashed, the bike was damaged. And if we can get word on what's going on down there at Red Bull KTM about Jeffrey Herlings and his just general health, I'm sure he's okay, but if we can get information up here, that'll be great. But Jonas just trying to avoid them big braking bumps at the end of the straight there, working his way back around towards the rhythm section here. Lieber is still in 4th place, having just been passed by Anstey a lap ago. Jeremy Sewa all over the back of those guys in 5th. Paturel is 6th, Guillot 7th, Tonkov is 8th, Covington now up into 9th, Van Donnick is up into 10th, as Sterry has been pushed back into 11th position. Getterman is now 12th, Brylyakov 13th, and then Herbertro, Petrov, they top 15. Over the line though for the 4th time, Paul Jonas, number 41, the former FIM Junior World Champion. Just picking his lines, twice he's caught that horrible gnarly edge. Jonas coming under pressure from Dylan Ferrandis. And incidentally, Paul Jonas' teammate is okay. Jeffrey Herlings is okay. He has a slight injury to his wrist, but he's okay. He's going to try and start the 2nd race, because as it stands at the moment, Dylan Ferrandis on 22 points in that 2nd position. Remember, 25 for a win, 22 for 2nd, 20, 18, 16, 15, down in single digits, right the way down to 20th place. Dylan Ferrandis, who's in 2nd place in the championship, 22 behind Jeffrey Herlings, the championship leader, and looking to go around the outside of Paul Jonas, who read that move well, but he's going to be on the wrong side here, coming up into this uphill right-hander. He's going to have to go the long way round. And Jonas makes sure he takes him the long way round as well, over the crest. Going to be able to square him off here into the next turn. He'll put the squeeze on him into the left-hander. And Ferrandis, well, he was looking at picking up 22 points. That would have tied him with Herlings going in the start of race 2. But it's not done, not by a long shot. Just under 20 minutes plus 2 to go. And Ferrandis has to wheel. Oh, and look at these two going bar to bar, wheel to wheel. Great opening MX2 race. Ferrandis just needs to get his head down here and forget about Jonas, but Jonas not going to give up the battle here. Both these guys sensing a race victory at the expense of Jeffrey Herlings, possibly. Obviously, we don't know what he would have achieved in this first race had he stayed on, but the form that he was in yesterday and coming into this Grand Prix after the first 2 rounds would have took a very brave man to bet against him. But early on in the season, Herlings picking up a rare DNF due to a crash. Ferrandis, though, getting his head down. A 1:48.72 last time around. Jonas, a 1:50.001. It was only half a second as they came over the line between these first 2 guys, Ferrandis and Jonas there, number 4 and 41. Anstey is only 4 seconds adrift of Jonas, and he was faster than this guy here in second with a 1:48.7. So I wonder if Anstey can lay down some laps now that he's got clear track ahead of him. Here's Covington, number 64, the young American. Monster Energy Kawasaki is alongside the 92 of Valentin Guillot. A great bit of riding there. Covington leaps up into 7th place, past the Swiss rider. Rain starting to fall here now. Just taking a quick look out of our window. It's not heavy, so it's not going to be doing any damage to the track at all. You can see the surface will take a bit of rain. But number 64, Thomas Covington, now going after number 6, Benoit Paturel, the young 20-year-old Frenchman on the Kimiya Yamaha Yamaluke machine. Julian Lieber, number 33, and the 91 of Siwa. This is the battle for 4th place. And 5 laps complete, so on lap 6 at the moment, Siwa goes to the inside on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe. Number 91 machine, different combination through there on the right side. Just get too much air time, jumping out of the hole and trying to clear that double, well, tabletop and then a double. We had Jeremy Siwa on our MXGP TV studio show yesterday. See, the last time we saw him was in Thailand when he crashed out of the wave section on the final lap and couldn't restart due to heat exhaustion. I was talking to him about that, but he's feeling much better and much more confident coming in. They said he was happy with his speed in general at the start of the season. And you'd have to agree, really. .33 coming up on one of the back markers. Waved yellows. Local rider there, just the right-hand side. Siwa. Just getting a little bit squirrely through the waves as he looked to find his way past the back marker. Buries it deep into that right-hander, but Anstey here. Has he closed down that gap? Well, no, he hasn't actually. He's about 7 seconds adrift now. Max Anstey, who crashed out pretty big as well in Qatar, if you remember, in the opening race of the year. Anyway, Anstey, Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki, clear track ahead of him, trying to pick out Paul Jonas, who has already gone through turn 12, actually, and is in the right-hander, turn 13, the penultimate turn before the final corner. In with a little bit of traffic. Anstey puts the squeeze on the back marker there. You see how hard and sketchy it is underneath, as in Nadjeri, square edge bumps in some places, lowly berms in other parts of the racetrack. 4th gear down this straight on these 250s. Back into turn 1 over the foxhole shot stripe. So let's give you a quick rundown then. 15 minutes down. Oh, is that Bruliakov? Or is it Getterman? Getterman. Second crash for him in this race. Is it folding front? Yes. Goes down, face plants the dirt. That's what the riders have to be wary of. It's hard and slick underneath. So Jens Getterman then out of the points now as a result of that second crash in the race. But Jonas now 3.5 seconds adrift of Dylan Ferrandis safely there in second place. Ferrandis, as the sun starts to come out here over on the middle part of the racetrack. A lot of riders very complimentary of this racetrack here this weekend. This is where Getterman went down. Just lost the front in that left. Obviously he picked himself up and remounted. No such problems for Ferrandis and Jonas though. Actually about 8 seconds behind this guy here, number 41, Paul Jonas. Lieber is fourth still on the standing construct Yamaha Yamalu bike. Jeremy Searle on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki having a great ride in fifth. Covington now up into sixth. Guillot 7th. Patrell 8th. Tomkoff 9th. Brent Van Doniken top 10 in 10th. Right, let's go down to the pits. Here's Jeffrey Herlings. These are live images from Jeffrey Herlings and their doctor down there at Red Bull KTM. Obviously he's tweeting to his fans there saying he's okay, but tense moments. Obviously it was the femur that he broke, but it's the ankle that needs work. So good to see him down there, just getting the treatment. That doctor travels with him at all the GPs. Actually was at Honda for a few years, but been poached by the Red Bull KTM guys for 2015. Here's your leader, number 4, Dylan Ferrandis. Almost 4 seconds clear on his Monster Energy Kawasaki. A 1:48.807. Paul Jonas is second, Anstey third, Lieber fourth, Jeremy Searle fifth, but looking good for the Frenchman, Ferrandis, in race 1. Julian Lieber on the number 33, standing construct Yamaha Yamalu. The blue machine over the Monster Energy tabletop now. Got Jeremy Searle, the 91, just behind him of Switzerland. So the young Belgian and the young Swiss. Here's Max Anstey on the green Kawasaki, number 99 on the Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki. He's in third on his first ride back from injury. And that's fourth and fifth right behind him. So obviously lacking a little bit of bike fitness here because Anstey being caught now by Lieber and Searle. Covington with about 12 minutes still to run. There's only about 4 seconds adrift of those guys. And talking to his dad. Oh, the back end getting a little bit loose on more than one occasion through there from Searle, number 91, as he goes in pursuit of the 33 of Julian Lieber. Oh, hasn't halted him at all though because he's got on the gas, but watch the difference between the lanes here. Too much height. Oh, okay, he's not doubling this time in. So the locals, fans, of which there are tens of thousands here this weekend, all up on the hillside, screaming for their local riders here, but at the same time, this battle for fourth place between Lieber and Searle. There's Getterman. The guy that he's talking to there with the big goatee, Aldo, was the mechanic to Michele Rinaldi when he won his World Championship way back and was with that Rinaldi Yamaha squad in the early years that looked after the likes of Bob Moore and Donny Schmidt, Kiko Chiodi, Alessandro Puzar, but left the scene a couple of years and then bounced back, just doing a lot smaller scale, but he's been with JTEC now since they've emerged into the World Championship, and a very highly experienced technician and chief mechanic down there for the JTEC Honda guys. This was Jeremy Searle just getting it a little bit loose a lap ago. Didn't halt his progress though, he's still right there on the rear wheel of the number 33 of Julian Lieber, still battling for fourth position, these guys. So the Yamaha versus Suzuki, so we've got a Kawasaki leading the way. He's 4.5 seconds clear of Paul Jonas, that's Dylan Ferrandis. Anstey third, but how long will it be before Searle finds a way past Julian Lieber? Will he at all? He's got 10 minutes plus 2 in which to do it. Looking to pick his lines. This is through turn 12. Looking through the long hole. Over the single. Lots of big choppy braking bumps there, and Searle goes to the inside, takes the shorter route through, and doesn't have the same kind of slingshot momentum that Julian Lieber had through there. Maybe just cost him a couple of tenths. Ferrandis almost 5 seconds clear at the head of the field. Jonas second, Anstey third. This battle here on the blue 33, Julian Lieber and the 91, the yellow Suzuki of Siwa, they're top 5. Covington, around about 6 seconds adrift now, in 6th place. Valentin Guillot is 7th, Paturel is 8th, Tonkov 9, and Brent Van Donnick is 10th. Adam Sterry in his first ever MX2 Grand Prix for Wilvo Fort Brent KTM, having a blinder of a ride there in 11th position. So he'll be pleased to pick up such good points. Obviously still just less than 10 plus 2 to go, but he'll be feeling good about where he's at. Sever Brulyakov, the second of the JTEC guys, is in 12th. Then Petr Petrov, the Hitachi Revo KTM, who's just been trying a little bit too hard this weekend. He said he had 3 crashes in time training, another one in the qualifying race. He's in 13th, is the Bulgarian. Geiser has been having a very quiet weekend. He fell on the first lap in qualifying yesterday, and he's not made a much better start here. He's down in 14th on that Honda Garibaldi HRC backed 250F. Brian Borgers on the HSF Logistics KTM is in 15th place, ahead of Robert Just, his teammate, David Herbertro, teammate to this guy here, 64, Covington. Covington, who's in 6th. Just behind him, the blue Yamaha there of Valentin Guillot in 7th. But Herbertro, 17th. Monticelli on the Marchetti Racing KTM is 18th. Ben Watson is 19th. And Anton Lundgren on the Hilario Ritchie-backed racing team, Husqvarna, finds himself picking up 1 championship point down there in 20th position. Anstey is being caught. Anstey through turn 1. A guy chasing him down there, the number 33. So Julian Lieber suddenly getting a sniff of 3rd place here. And the young Swiss rider, who has already had a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 3rd, the DNF, when he was in 2nd in Thailand in race 1, the only blotch on his copybook at the moment, who sits 4th in the championship standings. He's only 8 behind Paul Jonas, but Jonas, of course, in 2nd. He'll be picking up 22 points if he stays there. But the Frenchman, who's at the bottom of our camera shot somewhere, number 4, Dylan Ferrandis, now opening up a 7-second advantage over Jonas. But Anstey, 99, coming under pressure. As Marchetti dives down the inside of a back marker. Marchetti in 18th place and runs it wide. I'm sure that was, Monticelli on the Marchetti KTM. Sorry. Or was it actually, I think it was Guriev actually, 5.55. I don't think they're actually lapping up that far just yet. But Anstey, can he hold off Julian Lieber for the remaining 7 minutes or thereabouts, plus 2 laps? He won't want to take any unnecessary risks, but look how hard Lieber is charging as they come through the split lane rhythm section. There's Anstey, 3rd. There's 4th, Lieber. Here's 5th on the Suzuki. And Guriev, the back marker, outside of the points at the moment. See, just losing the toe to Julian Lieber, who's got sight of the green Kawasaki. Max Anstey just ahead of him at the start straight, at the end of the start straight. If it stays like this, Dylan Ferrandis will be leading the championship by 3 points over Jeffrey Herlings, who, as we saw earlier in the race, crashed out on the opening lap. And then during the race, we saw him having treatment, having ice on the ankle. He's a slight sprain in the wrist as well. Looked okay, didn't look in too much discomfort. So Jeffrey Herlings, who we know can ride with broken bones if he has to, we should see him on the start line for the second race. One thing he doesn't have is track knowledge now, how the track is changing, because it will be slightly bumpier and a little bit different to what it was in qualifying race yesterday. But one thing we do know is Jeffrey Herlings can ride a rough track, so he'll have his sighting lap, he'll try and take in the information, gather as much as he can. His teammate here. Sure, he'll relay some of the information to the technicians as well, possible changes. Not sure how different or how similar those bikes are actually. Engine-wise, they will be very, very similar. Suspension, obviously, is a personal choice in terms of how you have them set up, but Jonas, he'll be pleased with how his season has started. 9th at the opening round in Moto number 1 in Qatar. A brace of 4th place finishes in race 2 in Thailand and race 1 in Qatar and race 1 in Thailand, sorry, and a second in the second race in Thailand, which got him on the podium 2nd overall. He's in a good position here to challenge for an overall Grand Prix victory at this 3rd round of the FIM MX2 World Championship. The Grand Prix of Patagonia, Argentina, beautiful part of the world, not a million miles away from the Chilean border, but pretty much in the center of Argentina. Here's Covington. Great ride, actually, on that Monster Energy Kawasaki. See how choppy that turn 2 is getting now. That long sweeper up and over the first floater, then drops down. It's a series of gravity cavities almost. And then over the 3rd one. You don't have to be that precise through there either. You can actually carry as much speed and as much distance as you want because it's a gradual landing on all of those jumps. But there's Guillot, number 92. So both the standing construct Yamaha Yamalu riders well placed in this first race. Lieber in 4th, Guillot in 7th. Covington inside the top 10 once again. Got the 7th in the championship. He's on 53 points. Just 3 behind Tomkov, so he will move clear of the Russian, Alexander Tomkov. And Thomas Covington will move up into 6th place in the standings after this first race. He'll also gain a couple of points on Valentin Guillot as well. So Guillot will be 5th, and close to within about 4 points of the Swiss rider. So this not just a battle on track in the race, but also this early in the season, it's a battle about championship placing as well. It's like the wind is picking up out there. Rain starting to fall just a little bit now, but 2.5 minutes to go. It's not going to affect the circuit at all. So Covington, 14 laps complete, embarks on lap 15 as his teammate here, Dylan Ferrandis, now has a 6.8 second advantage over Dylan Ferrandis, over Pauls Jonas. Through the waves, over the tabletop. Thinking about bringing it home now and trying to stay out of trouble. Soaks that up nicely, up and over the Ippon. Jumping in the center of the circuit before up and down the other side. Nicely floating over that, and then we have the big step up. Doesn't look like they get too much height there, but the takeoff is a lot lower on the other side of there. Here's Jonas. The weather interchangeable at the moment. A little bit drizzly and a little bit cloudy, sun coming out as well, bursts of sunshine. So it doesn't affect the visibility too much, but when the sun does come out, I was standing at the end of this straight yesterday, just on that jump, and as the riders came into this point, in that left-hander, turn 11, when the sun was out, brilliant sunshine, you couldn't actually see where the corner was, you couldn't see the line, you couldn't see the braking bumps or the holes, or even the bank of the turn until you actually hit it, so it's quite deceptive in that respect. But Anstey, single, just behind the finish line area. Is he still hanging on? Yes, he is, 3rd. Lieber right on his case, though. This is going to be 3 laps to go because Ferrandis has already gone through. Anstey pulls the tail off. This will be a nice return back from injury. Adam Sterry now up into 10th place. He's just found a way past Tomkov in the last lap or so. So Ferrandis leads then. Pauls Jonas is 2nd. Anstey, that's him we're watching here on 3rd on the 99 Kawasaki, up on the pegs, the green machine just here. He's in 3rd place. Julian Lieber of Belgium is 4th on the Yamaha, looking up at picking another podium race finish in this first race here. He's in 4th. Jeremy Seewer has dropped to about 3 seconds behind these guys now in 5th. Covington is 6th. Guillot 7th. Patrell is 8th. Van Donnick now over the line in 9th. And Adam Sterry, who is about 12 seconds down on the Belgian. Both those guys making MX2 Grand Prix rides appearances this weekend in 9th and 10th. So Hans Corvus, the team owner of Kimiya Yamaha Yamalu, the man responsible for bringing in Brent Van Donnick, and Steve Turner at Wilvo Fortrent KTM. We're pleased with what Adam Sterry is doing this weekend. He's 10th in this first MX2 race. But Lieber, just a little bit of a bobble coming out of that left-hander, and then gets a wicked kick as well at the end of the rhythm section. So it gives a little bit of breathing space, but look how hard. We saw it with Jeremy Seewer when he was closing down the 33 of Julian Lieber. The outside drifting in to take that inside is so much quicker than dropping it down and over the braking bumps to swing wide to take what is the actual quickest line through the split section. Lieber hanging off of that Yamaha. 2 to go. Ferrandis almost 9 seconds clear. Anstey takes a look, a nervous look over his shoulder, sees the 33, the Yamaha from the Belgian rider, Julian Lieber, still breathing down his neck. These guys separated by about a second, but doesn't look like that out on track, and Anstey just a little bit loose as he came over that second crest into turn 2. He'll do well to hold on to this third place, having not ridden for the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. He won't make it easy for Lieber, that's for sure. Well, Lieber going high and wide. He's got, and Anstey taking a look again. A nervous look over his shoulder. Oh, and he gets it wrong on the takeoff of the Dragonback. Will he cut to the right-hand side? He holds his line here. Back marker going to split the 2 guys in 3rd and 4th, and Lieber has to take evasive action. The crowd very vocal yesterday, particularly in the MXGP qualifying race. Well, if he does hold on to 3rd here, that'll be a good effort from Max Anstey, that's for sure. Because Lieber, well, he's been riding hard, he's been fast, he's been one of the main sort of championship contenders, certainly for podiums, when you look at what he's finished so far this year. But Lieber won't give up that without a fight. We saw how tough he is when we realised how well he bounced in that first race in Thailand. We also found out they didn't fly very well. Just gets it slightly wrong through there though. Gives a little bit more distance to Anstey. But Ferrandis over the line now. 1 more to go. Spoke to him just before he had his lunch today, and he was feeling a lot more confident. A lot happier with the engine after making those changes overnight. And he'll be buoyed by the fact that I'm sure he would have had a pit board from his crew saying that Herlings out. And he knows that being 22 points behind Jeffrey Herlings at the start of the race, the rider who'd won all 4 motos from the first 2 rounds coming in here from Qatar and Thailand. The first 2 rounds back-to-back, had a 3-week break since then. The 25 points here will take him 3 points clear at the top of the championship table. Will put Ferrandis on 103, Herlings will be on 100. Jonas will only be on 92, so he's only 8 points behind Jeffrey Herlings. So suddenly, top 3 places have closed up somewhat. And then Julian Lieber will only be 8 points behind Jonas. So we've got, 23 points separating the first 4 now, whereas before this first race it was 22 separating first and second. So about a 1/3 lap to go then. Dylan Ferrandis through the second set of waves. Picking his line. Backs it off slightly at the end of lap 17. But he is on his final lap. Picks his front wheel up nicely. Takes it as 3 little tabletops at rhythm section. Pulls Jonas nowhere to be seen at this stage. Well, 8 seconds can seem an eternity, but just looking out my back window here, and Dylan Ferrandis rounds the right-hander. He's into the final left. He'll get on the gas, he'll hit the Monster Energy tabletop jump. He wins it, but there are no celebrations here because he knows, well, there's a muted one there. He knows that there's still a lot of work to be done, but the Monster Energy Kawasaki, Dylan Ferrandis wins race 1 here, MX2. And Jonas gets second, and Anstey does hang on for 3rd. So Kawasaki's taking 1st and 3rd here. So So Dylan Ferrandis, your Monster Energy Kawasaki rider, wins. Jonas on the Red Bull KTM factory machine is second, and Anstey Monster Energy Kawasaki DRT is third. Lieber fourth, Siwa is fifth, Guillot sixth, Covington gets seventh. Here's your winner, Dylan Ferrandis.
Dylan, congratulations. Your first race win so far this season. You now have the championship lead. It must be a great feeling for you.
Yeah, it's cool. I won one moto last year, and this year is my first moto, so really happy. Now I really need to be focused for the second moto. I don't know what's happened with Jeffrey. It's bad that he don't start with me on the front, because he always start in front and me in back. So now that changed a bit. Thank you. And yeah, it's really cool for me and for the team. We work a lot on the bike during the weekend, and now we prove that the bike is really good.
Good job. Best of luck for the second motor.
Thank you.
Dylan Ferrandis then wins race one quite comfortably in the end, 7.3 seconds clear of Pauls Jonas, but the young Latvian did make it pretty tough for him at the start of the race. The big guy just leaving the scene in the background there, Thierry Shizatsuzoni, team owner for Monster Energy Kawasaki effort in MXGP. Just congratulating fellow Frenchman Dylan Ferrandis on a superb performance in race one. 7.3 seconds clear of Pauls Jonas. Anstey was third, Lieber fourth, and Jeremy Siwa was fifth. Of course, we'll give you the official confirmation in just a moment, but some of these guys bringing their own decks with them look to get a view of that first corner. But the crowd up in the trees, up on the bank there, getting a great view as well. But Ferrandis then picks up 25 for the win. Jonas second, Anstey third, Lieber fourth, Jeremy Siwa was fifth, and then Valentin Guillot, Thomas Covington, Benoit Patra, Brent Van Donik, Alexander Tonkov dropped to 10th. Oh, he in fact got 10th back in the closing stages. Steri was pushed back to 11th by the Russian. Geiser was 12th, Sever Brylyakov 13th, Petar Petrov 14th, Brian Borges, Ben Watson climbed to 16th in the end ahead of Anton Lundgren, Robert Just, David Herbretot, and Vakishlev Golovkin on the Marchetti KTM. And there's the championship at the moment. Dylan Ferrandis climbs one, Herlings gets pushed back one, but the gap only 3 points going into race two, and Jonas has closed right in as well, and Lieber is there still in fourth, but as we said before, just 23 points now separating the first four guys. Siwa, Valentin Guillot is in fifth, Tonkov is sixth, Covington is seventh, Geiser is eighth, Siwa ninth, and Petrov is 10th in the championship standings. Fans just trying to get every vantage point out on the racetrack here, because coming up soon will be MXGP race one. But before that, here's what happened just in MX2 race one. The gate dropped and Jeffrey Herlings didn't make a good start, put pressure on himself, but it was Jeremy Siwa who grabbed the foxhole shot just ahead of Adam Steri, number 811. Tonkov made a good start, so too did Ferrandis, who soon emerged into second place and then went after. But look at this, Herlings was in fifth place here, and then on the takeoff of the jump got it completely wrong. Apologies there for the freeze frame. We'll bring you those images as soon as we can, but we just missed the crash then from Jeffrey Herlings. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Max Anstey was having a battle with the 33 of Julian Lieber. And those two would duke it out right the way to the flag. And it would be Anstey who would eventually find a way through to get himself into third place behind this guy here, who was having a great ride. He led for a brief spell on the Red Bull KTM, Pauls Jonas, number 41, but Dylan Ferrandis was showing his intent. So these two both taking turns at leading this first race. Neither giving an inch. Eventually, Ferrandis had to run it around the outside, which was read by Jonas, who made Ferrandis go the other way round. He passed him briefly and then carved back up the inside. The crowd loved it. And from there, Ferrandis, well, he never really looked back, did he? Despite the pressure from Jonas for the next few laps or so. Covington found his way up into 7th after passing the 92 of Valentin Guyot. His teammate was coming under pressure from the 91 of Jeremy Seewer on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki here. Anstey was still in 3rd at that stage, but he was being reined in by 33 Julian Lieber in what was his first race back from injury. Jonas, though, the lone Red Bull KTM rider, could no longer keep pace with the number 4 Monster Energy Kawasaki of Dylan Ferrandis, as Lieber and Seewer then started to close in even more on the 99 of Max Anstey. Covington started to pull clear of Valentin Guyot, 92, as he went in search of another top 10 position. A little bit of bar banging action going on further down the field, almost catching 99. Max Anstey unawares as he was in his battle for 3rd with Julian Lieber. And that's how close it was on the final lap, really. Lieber trying everything he could. Anstey had a bit of a moment there, had to muscle his way through to prevent the Yamaha finding a way through, but the flag fell and it was a win for Ferrandis. Jonas 2nd, and Anstey was a fine 3rd.
Una breve pausa y ya estamos con la puesta en marcha en esta garúa, en esta casi bendición para la tierra patagónica que viene desde el cielo. Una breve pausa y ya estamos con la primera batería del MXGP.
So that was the highlights for MX2 Race 1. Fans trying to take shelter from the rain, which is now starting to drizzle as I take a look out of our commentary position here. Fortunately for us, the ground is going to be able to take this, but a while ago we had the Fox Holeshot Award, and it was the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe rider, Jeremy Seewer, who takes his first black plate of the season. But it was a close run thing, though, because Adam Sterry was right there on the outside of him, but Herlings has 2, Ferrandis has 1, and Jeremy Seewer has 1. But we will be back shortly with MXGP Race 1 as the rain falls here in Argentina. They did say there'd be a chance of rain on race day, so the racetrack now will cut up a little bit different. But let's take a look at some more of the ambient moments of the weekend so far. Right, some of the ambient moments. We're back in a moment. MXGP Race 1, don't go away.